Hey guys, welcome to another session of Epic 7. So today's topic is going to be talking about the Maligore Seeds and enhancing your unit's skills. This is mainly for some newer players, and even if you're more experienced players, I think we have something similar. In the case of like maybe when we started off the game, we started skill enhancing units that may not need skill enhancements. So let's say like one of the first units that I got that I thought was top tier was Destina. Now a lot of people early on most likely have put a lot into Destina, and that's fine, to each their own. And the only reason why I want to make this video is because it's been like a common theme that I've noticed in the community that Maligore Seed, some people have invested it wrongly early on and they have regretted it. Now if you understand the Maligore Seeds and the Maligore Goes, you understand that it's very rare. It's a rare commodity in this game, and yes, if you're patient and you play every day, make sure you log in every day, you're gonna get them from various places, but overall it's still very rare. One of the things I would say that would hinder, I guess, building your heroes to the max would be the Maligore investment. So Maligore here is the normal base one, and then there's a Maligore Go, which are these ones in the purple, the red ones. They will hinder your building of a unit because, again, like I said, unless you're pay to play, you're not going to get too many, and they kind of refresh once per week. So we're going to kind of go through like where can you get them, and make sure you purchase them every week they're out, otherwise you're going to miss out, right? So you can purchase them in the shops. So here if you go to normal, you can't get it normal, but if you were here from the get-go, like so from like the first week of release, they used to have this concept called the Molagoras, which is kind of annoying. Basically you would take like about 3 to 5 Maligore to make a Maligore Go. So the red ones I just said before, and you would take 4 of those, I think 4 or 5 of those Maligore Goes to make a Maligore Gora, which were what you needed to like max your skill enhance. But over time, Smilegate realized that was a very, very, very big slope to climb. So they actually changed the game completely. That Maligore Goras are no longer even in the game, but they have this so that if you use one of these, you can get back 25 Maligores. Arguably speaking, if you actually played it properly and you actually went to the proper vendors and you actually purchased cheap Maligore Goes, you would get technically a cheaper Maligore Gora. So if you actually refunded this back, you get actually 25 Maligores, which means you actually get a couple more Maligores back. So like maybe 1 or 2 extra. All right. Later, Martin. Later. Thanks for coming. So Transmute Stone is also a place you can get it. So once available, one time a week. You can see this shaded out here for 15 silver Transmute Stones. Now, obtaining silver Transmute Stones, there's like this topic can go on forever, but I don't want to diverge into every aspect of this. But basically, if you obtain silver Transmute Stones, this is, I would say, the most important thing you should get every week. Every week there should be some new events, and you should be able to get at least acquire 15 silver Transmute Stones for sure. So you should be able to get this once a week. But remember, by the week reset, so usually on Sunday night it resets. By the week reset, you want to be able to get it. Okay, don't miss out on it. Otherwise, you can never get that time back. Another one is 150 conquest points. So you do need to do some arena, whether you take down the AI teams or actual players. Again, once per week, 150. So make sure you have a threshold of 150 before the week resets, if you want to get it right away. Of course, you do have 7 days to collect it. And then, of course, there is one more in a guild. So if you're not in a guild, you do want to get yourself into a guild ASAP. Obviously, hopefully that guild is kind of active, so you would be able to get more brave crests. Now again, that's a whole other subject, like what to do in a guild. It's just way too complex, but there must be other content out there, and perhaps I can do it in the future. Now, there is a thing called Maligore Seed versus Maligora. It's not that much different. All a Maligore Seed is that if you go to the Sanctuary, you can actually harvest them or grow them. So if you have Forest of Souls here, you can select what you want to grow, and Maligore Seeds is one of them. Usually I just like instant spawn them, so you can use some stigma and just basically instant spawn them. So they're the same things. Maligore Seeds are equivalent to Maligora, but you do have to grow them. You do have to grow them. One other thing to note is that a little tip here for some newer players. Every day you do get a refresh in your Labyrinth tokens. So you get 1 Labyrinth token per day, max capped at 3. I would definitely recommend you guys never cap your resources. So right now I have 1. I'm gonna go to this Tyrol Castle Chaos. Very easy in zone 1. There's a vendor here that is quite important, so you want to be able to do this once a day. So I'm just gonna take a random team. I'm gonna use this team because I have an AoE damage dealer here. And we're just gonna go. So basically, you want to complete this map. If you're new, you do need to complete it. We're gonna try to move to this point in the center of the screen, this dark blue dot. But once you've completed this, you can warp. And the thing is, it doesn't cost you a pass, so you really want to use this. You don't need to open the chest. What we're gonna do is we're not gonna get any of the loot, not gonna get any of the gold, because we're gonna yield after we go to the vendor. I'm just gonna attack with S1, save some animation time.
Leave it to me. This will be the last. The blessing of the moon will fall.
Okay, so let's go. And so the vendor is here, so he will always be here. Every day the shop refreshes, so what you can buy. But if you do,
you're lucky you ran into me.
Yeah, I am lucky I ran into you, bro. All right, so. So if you do run into him in, let's say, like other labyrinths, he has the same stuff. So if you purchased it from this guy, you don't even need to bother checking the other shops. As long as it's Hoochie, this animal guy,
I'll give you a special discount.
well, stop talking over me, bruh. You'll be buying the same thing. So I'm actually gonna buy some stuff because I get some artifact charms here. Oh, got a bookmark. So sometimes you're gonna see him selling Maligore Go, so the red ones that you need for further skill enhancements. Generally they cost about 3 to 4, and I think it's RNG, 3 to 4 Maligora, and you have to trade for them. So that's another thing to keep in mind. If you're trying to build a unit to the end game skill enhancements, you want to actually be able to keep a couple Maligoras on you at all times. Now, when you yield it, you don't waste a pass. As you can see, I still have 1 out of 3, but you actually keep what you purchased. So that's something that you want to keep in mind. Generally speaking, you want to be able to have some Maligore Goes. I would say every time you see a Maligore Go, you should buy it. The reason is because, again, like I said, over time you get Maligores per week, but Maligore Goes is RNG if you meet the shop vendor and he actually has it on sale for that day. So it's very RNG, so you don't want to take a chance. So you want to minimally keep 4 Maligora. Now, you saw that I had 0. It's because I actually just bought one yesterday, so that's probably the reason. Another thing to note is that the silver transmute stones, so if you have problems buying it from the shop, the Maligore there, silver transmute stones can be obtained by transmissioning some heroes back. Generally, you want to transmission 3-star penguins if you're not using them to enhance, to level up your units. So I'm going to go in here. Generally speaking, a 3-star base unit, doesn't matter which one, except yeah, actually no, it doesn't matter which one. You actually get some cash, you get some gold, and you get a silver transmute stone from doing it. So generally speaking, I usually try to spam my Forest of Souls if I have a ton of stigma. Spam it for some penguins. Now I do have my Forest of Souls max leveled, so I spam some penguins, and then I try to transmit them, and they sell for a ton of gold and some silver transmute stone. So it's a good option to have. So we're going to talk a bit about like just skill enhancements in general. Now, again, skill enhancements, like who to enhance, is a big debate. Like people will always you know, say that, oh, you should skill enhance this unit, you shouldn't skill enhance this unit, you shouldn't skill enhance this skill, you should. I would say obviously know your units, know what are like top units that you need, and then read their skills. So for example, like Angelica, I have nothing invested in her except to reduce the cooldown, which costed only 3 Maligore. She's actually relatively cheap, so only 6 Maligore, and you only need 1 of the Baby Mouse Insignia Catalyst in order to get it. Now, everyone knows that Angelica is probably one of the top, or if not the top healers because of her immunity buff. And the cooldown is pretty much all you need. Like 10% healing, they're all nice and stuff, but you know, generally people invest in damage dealers, DPS units, so that they can kill the enemy faster instead of just sustaining the fight. Angelica heals no problem if you built her with high HP anyway. So like let's say Sez, for example. This is an arguably one of my worst investments. So I started the game playing with Sez, and therefore, you know, early on a lot of content creators are saying that, oh yeah, Sez, man, he's so awesome, man, you gotta get him. And so very early on I made some mistakes, and I would say it's mistakes because I wish I can recall my Maligore on Sez. I hardly use him anymore, not even in PvP, but of course he still has his uses, and because he is so skill enhanced, he's still one of my go-tos if I'm lacking some damage dealers. But I would say that you know, again, to each their own on what you wanted to invest. Like I would say like Encroach, you know, I shouldn't have really invested in it. That's a 10% on his S2, which only procs if an enemy is under 50% health anyway. So like it's a hard debate. Let's see here. Top says her S2 is really good too. Let's see, Angelica, you mean? It's just the healing amount though. So I mean, there's of course, yeah, it is honestly subjective on what to enhance, but I think it's just more of knowing who are meta and knowing their skill sets. So let's say a unit like Luna is one, she's a limited unit, so investing in her is kind of worth it just for the sake of like the collection. But second, Luna is actually an OP damage dealer. Like so far, at least currently, she has been like my primary DPS for doing raids, not hell raids, just normal raids, but she's able to nuke every single one of the bosses so far, including the queen and including Vera, which is an earth boss. She's just super strong. So I mean, investing in her, I might go all out on her, and some might argue like, oh yeah, it's not useful, but it's just more of like collection purposes. So sometimes maybe you invest because of that. I was talking to Terror yesterday as well, just to ask if he would enhance anything on let's say Violet. Now Violet's S2 is debatable whether or not you want to enhance it. It's only one enhancement and reduces 1 turn cooldown. It's 5 turns on default, but if you read his skill sets, it says if the skill is on cooldown, it increases evasion chance by 30%. So depending how you build him, depending on your team, if there's a CR booster, if he's really fast, maybe you would like the 1 turn cooldown. But if you don't have it, you have an extra turn to evade 30%. It's very highly situational. Let's say if you use him for a PvP team, and the PvP team has like a different type of speed, different type of like CR booster timing, and they catch you off guard, they catch you when you're not on cooldown, then you're gonna be kind of in trouble. So this one's like kind of like a 50-50 for me. I would say I wouldn't invest in it because there's a gamble on the situation of whether you would want an extra turn cooldown or whether you don't. Now obviously people would say that, oh yeah, if you invest in 1 turn cooldown, -1 turn cooldown, he'll be able to cast it again, which actually you'll get some health back, and you get another skill, which people will argue that, oh, I think he gets more damage. Again, depends how you build them, depends how you use Violet, but that one is situational. It's very situational. Let's say like DN, for example, like she is such a good unit. Her S3 relatively cheap to invest in, but you really want that 1 turn cooldown. Pretty much every healer, any like good heal or good buff, you really want to reduce the cooldown ASAP. That's like primary. And Terror has been telling me to actually improve her barrier strength, which looking at it, it doesn't cost too much. It costs some Maligore, so that's probably like a 2 weeks investment going into one skill. 10% barrier strength is really good. Total is about 20%. If you can max this, I have seen almost max DNs in arena scenarios, and honestly, I think that's a total of what, 50% barrier strength, right? 30, 40, yeah, 50% barrier strength. That's really strong, and that barrier is proportional to the target's max health. So let's say it's like Krau's health. You know, let's say if you have 20k HP tank, 50% of that barrier is like 10k, right? 10k barrier HP. That's really good. That gives your tank a lot of survivability. Like Falcon and Cleary, for example, like you would really want this 15% debuff chance. Like you want it to be 100%. So there are units that are essential if you're going to use them, and if you can see multiple uses for them, whether it's Abyss, including PvP, other scenarios, you want to be able to think about that. And like I said, you will eventually be able to skill enhance everyone, but if you do pull on, you know, a ton of banner over time, you will realize you're going to fall flat on running resources. So another thing is, like, you know, I've saved up for Luna, but before Luna's release, because it was a limited banner that everyone was, like, you know, raving about, I wanted to take on Wyvern 11 ASAP. So I got Kisei to 6-star. I gave her this many skill enhancements, and honestly, I actually regret skill enhancing too. But it's because I had like a ton of resources saved up for Luna that I just kind of like went all out because I wanted to kill off Wyvern really quick. I regret S2, to be honest. And then the next week, Luna was released. So I actually had a setback. I had about a week setback and able to enhance her to the place I am now. Otherwise, I think she would have been at max enhancement. I had a ton of Maligore Go. I think I had like 15 total. Anyways, that's just for some newer players to think about. When you're investing in it, definitely don't invest in like the first 5-star you pull. All right, like really understand the hero and the fact that, like, are you going to use them for multiple scenarios, what their role is, so you know what exactly to enhance. And then also the last thing is, you know, do you like them, right? So the other thing, like I said, you know, some people would say that, oh, you're wasting all that stuff on Luna's S2, but I really like her as a unit, as a hero, so I think it's not wasted in general. And like I said, she's limited, and she's my first SSS 5-star, so it's like kind of like, you know, you want to make her look really good, right? So anyways, I think that's all I want to talk about this on this one. So we talked about just Maligore rareness, where you can get them, how you can obtain them easier, and like I said, unless you're paid to play, you won't be purchasing those Maligore packs, which generally cost about 50 bucks USD, but it gives you like 9 Maligore. So, you know, to each their own again. If people are saying like, oh man, I can't believe I'm paying so much for like 9 Maligore. If you understand the game's economy, Maligore is, like I said, one of the most rarest commodities, so definitely keep that in mind. Anyways, if you guys have Discord, check out the Discord server, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe to YouTube if you haven't. And, you know, if you are a new player and you do need help, our Discord community is very active on Epic 7, and we have a ton of smart guys. These guys are always the ones giving me the info to make content for you guys, so you guys can learn about it as well. So anyways, I'm going to end that there, and I'll see you guys in the next video.